Everybody, I'm Peter Pappas. I'm here at the Republican Candidate Resource Center, also known as my office, just for any of those in the county that are wondering, did we open another GOP office or whatnot? So I'm here with Bree Eldridge.
And it's the second unofficial GOP office.
Second unofficial. Okay, well, I'm here
unofficial.
with Bree, no nickname Eldridge, and I'm here with Heather, Pistol Packing Mama Holmes, and we're here to talk about. We're putting out some videos to explain what the current slate of the GOP, also known as the Board of Directors of your county GOP, has done and not done in our county. Now, 2 years ago, a ragtag group of us, Bree, Heather, myself, we all put our names on a slate led by Leonard Bryant at the time. I think Tracy Pelt was the vice chair, and then somehow I was second vice chair in that position to be if I had been on the slate.
We had Sharon Connolly as treasurer.
Sharon Connolly. We had what were you, at large?
As assistant treasurer.
You were going to be assistant treasurer, and then we also had
Don Markey and John Corley.
John Corley
Is at large. Yeah.
So for those of you that are watching and don't know, every one of the people that we just mentioned had over a couple years experience with the GOP board at that time. So we went to convention. Our slate was put up against the current slate, and the current slate was voted in, and we were not voted in.
Well, keep in mind too that our slate was handpicked by Bree and Shamika and Susan Chapman, who were all on the board,
previous successful board that left us with about $13,000–14,000 in the account.
They assembled us all together.
And a big goal was outreach, growing the party, going out to communities that had been ignored. We wanted to pull different parts of the city into the party.
I want to go ahead and break through that, because you say other communities. Let's just say it, put our money where our mouth is. We wanted a diverse slate that looks like Cumberland County.
Yes.
We are, for better or worse, no matter what you watching thinks, we are 65% majority minority in this county. We are a deep blue county, but that doesn't mean that every deep blue voter has liberal leanings.
Right.
We want to do outreach to them to let them know you have a conservative.
There's a lot of untapped talent out there.
Absolutely.
That can really bring some new ideas and fresh innovation that we wanted to bring to it. And we're like, look, Republican, we're trying to get the county to go from blue to purple, at least try to move it in the right direction. To do that, you're going to have to start getting out into all these communities. And there's a lot of good leaders out there that is untapped, and we haven't used them.
Bree, how much outreach have you seen with our current board to those communities?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because
if you do reach out to these communities, what are you called?
Then you're a rhino, you're purple, we were told we should be shunned. If you dare talk to
a Democrat.
Because case in point, during early voting, I worked early voting out at Stony Point, and I spent a lot of my time talking to the Democrats, the Democrat volunteers. I'm saying, hey, well, why do you want to vote for Kamala? Why do you want to vote for this person? And we start talking about different policies and stuff, and they'd ask me the same thing. You can't look at it like these people are the enemy. These are your neighbors.
Well, you can if your name is Hitler, because I think what Hitler did was he dehumanized the other side and made them non-human, so you could say they're all stupid, they're all this, they're all that.
Smear them,
so I would say,
them.
and this is just going to blend into our other topic here, but
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Come on, girl.
I was going to say, when I was working for Simone's campaign, one of the things that we would stress was to vote your values.
Yeah.
Because just because you may have a D behind your name doesn't mean that you still don't believe with some of the conservative views. You may be Democrat, but there are a lot of Democrats that support the Second Amendment.
Right.
A lot of them.
Well, let me tell you this. When I was out at Stony Point, maybe I may not say this too loud, but a couple of the Democrat volunteers, I'd sit there and talk to them throughout the day, and I tell them, I said, I vote policy.
Yes.
I vote for the person who's going to defend what I believe in, preserve the way of life that I believe in, and I try to ignore all the mudslinging and the name calling. I'm like, are you going to vote the way I want you to vote? Then I need to trust you. And I'll tell you what, we got done talking policies, and two of the Democrat volunteers that were paid to be out there told me, they said, well, don't tell anybody, but I'm voting for Trump. That's what happens when you go out and you start talking to other people, not just in your echo chamber.
Well, I mean, I can toot my own horn and say,
Yeah.
you know, I know that they voted for me, a couple of them, because
Well,
they
that's
just,
how
you know,
Debbie
they got
pretty
they
much
got
got
to
elected.
know they
Yeah.
got to know me as a candidate, as a person.
And
They're like, you know,
Debbie-
I can support
But that's how
that.
Devier got elected, was because
He was out there every day.
he was out there every day, and he pulled Republican votes, even though he's a Democrat, because he's considered. We call him a conservative Democrat,
Yeah.
but he works across party lines.
Right.
He does
Right.
vote with Republicans.
And he does
sometimes.
vote with
Yeah.
us sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. But if
Yeah.
you can't work across party lines, we're never going to get anything accomplished.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So, are y'all bitter that we didn't win the slate?
No.
Okay, because I
So-
want to clear that up.
We would
because
have
first
done
of
a
all,
much better job.
All of these positions are unpaid. Number one. Okay,
Yes.
so I mean, we were so brokenhearted over not winning the slate. I mean, I went and filed to run for county commission,
Yeah.
I guess, and Heather went and worked for Simone and worked
Yeah.
her butt off.
And I worked for
And
Leonard's campaign.
you
and
did.
So that was the
And
other thing.
involved in the community.
That was the
Yes.
only thing when our slate didn't win. We were like, okay, what else can we do to
Where
help?
else are we going to serve?
What else can we do to help the Republican Party? So
that's what we've done.
we recruited a bunch of people to run. We helped on their campaigns. We opened this center. We've done all kinds of activities to help our candidates get out there. We helped them fundraise. We did treasury training.
And a lot of us are involved in the community doing
Yeah.
nonprofit work, and it's not political, but it's still outreach to an
Yeah.
extent, because you're
Yeah.
showing your face.
And then some of the other people, they went on to become precinct judges. They're working in the Board of Elections.
yeah.
And so we're trying to, so we didn't just sit back and worry about that we didn't win. We're like, well, let's go out and do some other stuff. How else can we help out? Because we just wanted to help the party. We want to help our candidates win. Whether it's one way or the other, we were going to do something.
Yeah, it wasn't about whether or not we were upset that we lost. We were upset that we lost, but at the same time,
I was set for about, 5 minutes. And then I was like, all right,
Yeah.
let's do next.
Yeah, it wasn't a permanent thing.
No.
yeah,
I mean,
no,
no.
not at all. I mean, but we did try to warn them and say, I hope you realize what you voted for. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
people, not a lot. She still
Well,
got.
let's just remember though.
She's still
her-
Pied Pipering.
Her
but
board has churned 12 people,
12
so the
people.
people
Yeah.
that were elected in
Yeah.
2 years ago
Are not
are
there.
not the same that are there now, and they have blindly followed
Mm-hmm,
this hairdo in chief to watch her destroy the party. I mean, remember when we had to open the resource center here, because we needed a place, we needed a beachhead to have the candidates meet, store signs, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, what's on the email list from the GOP? Isn't it like 40,000 Republicans in Cumberland County?
There's,
In Nation Builder, the software
Yeah.
they use to email. And didn't she
Something
send
like
two
that.
messages out? Not one, but two, calling us a splinter group.
Yes.
And what else was it?
yeah, let's correct that. We've
Unauthorized?
never been a splinter group. We were
Yeah.
never part of the CCGOP. We came
Right.
up with this idea on our own to put it together to provide services to candidates.
Mhm.
Kind of like campaign consulting type services.
Right.
And the candidates were very appreciative, because if you're a brand new candidate and you start locally, usually it can be kind of overwhelming of running a campaign. They don't know where to start, what to do. They don't know anything about campaign finance
Mm-hmm.
laws or
And we had bookkeepers that were qualified by the state. We had so this is what I'm going to offer to the hairdo if you ever want to challenge me. What services do you offer candidates? Because it's not the job of the GOP to help
No.
candidates at that level, but we offer the back office support. We offer marketing, texting, the apps, how to door knock, how to
Yes.
canvas,
targeting.
how to target.
everything.
And everything. The GOP party is not supposed to be doing that for
No.
candidates to
They're-
begin with.
They're supposed to be, they take care of their poll observing, their training, recruiting precinct chairs, getting out the Republican vote, and making sure that all the information is out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly their goal. So the Resource Center filled a different niche.
Right.
And we came up with this on our own and created this because we saw a need. I saw a need when I was chair. I just didn't have the time
Right.
or effort to do all. You're so busy doing county business, you don't have time to help the
Just
candidates
say,
as
you
much.
didn't have me. That's
And
what
it was
Yes.
also
Yeah.
too like candidates could use this as headquarters or an office that they needed without having to rent an office
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
able to get the
Yeah.
administrative
They
stuff
could have
done, because a lot of
meetings,
people don't
training.
realize how much administrative stuff is when you run for politics.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. You're out
Yeah.
facing. You have to be canvassing and showing your face.
'Cause,
But
I
there's
mean,
a
we had- I
lot
don't
of
know.
behind the scenes stuff people have no idea that go on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many times we had training events, we had phone centers, we had,
Well, I know
phone
that
banking here.
the day before election, we phone banked, and
Yes.
I think we hit 1% of the registered voters, which there's 100,000.
Yeah.
What was it like? I think we called 1,000, 2,000 people.
Yeah, something like Jackie Warner came
Yeah.
in here because she was running for school board, and she had to flip a seat from an incumbent Democrat.
Yep.
And she came to us. We helped her out with her maps and targeting, and she did phone banking, and she did the app for door knocking. We set her up with that, and look what happened. She
Yeah.
won that seat and flipped
So,
an incumbent Democrat.
You know, I'm not going to claim her victory, but certainly I think we had more to do with her victory
Oh,
than
absolutely.
the GOP party did.
But I must say, though, as a candidate, she was out there every day.
She was.
She was.
And I'm like, you come here, we definitely will assist. We're not going to do all the work for you. But Jackie was out there hustling every day. And, I mean, she was out in the neighborhood. She was doing phone banking. And, you know, she was out there talking to people. That's why she won.
I'm speaking
So-
for my candidate. We were out there
Oh,
every
my
day
gosh.
too.
Every day.
But we had a little bit of a harder race to.
And that was the other thing. We helped recruit volunteers for the campaign teams, whether it's door knocking or going out there helping with events. So that's the other thing we assisted with.
Right.
Connecting the candidates with volunteers.
Let's talk about democratic practices being put to play by our GOP board. It's very typical of Democrats to smear, slander, et cetera, so forth.
Or censor.
Or censor. Yeah. And
yeah.
Silence. Censor
so
us.
what's some of the ways that the GOP Board of Directors has censored the Cumberland County GOP so far?
Well, I'll tell you what, the county GOP Facebook page should be visible to all registered Republicans, but a lot of us are blocked. It's not because we said anything on there, just because as soon as we opened the resource center, she just went and blocked a bunch of us. How dare we see what's going on in the county GOP?
She's not sending emails out now.
She doesn't send
anymore.
emails out. The website in the calendar is non-existent. There's just no information
Yeah,
sharing.
if you go to Google it, it shows you the old office off of Bragg Boulevard. It doesn't even show you the new one anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and
we
the-
told her
the
how to
new-
fix that, but she didn't listen to
The
us.
new office shouldn't even exist because
Exactly.
we signed a 13-month lease and we're what, in month 15?
We're in month 15.
Yeah.
And then had the nerve to say, that we don't know how much longer they're going to be open. Like, they're
Right.
that confident that they're going to win again and extend this lease.
Well, I don't know what money's there left. Let's not even go there with what money's left.
Well, that's the problem. We spoke about that in another video. We don't know where the money is.
We don't know how much.
We don't know where the money
We
is.
have no idea what our balances are.
At a
'cause we just
certain
never
point,
been told.
You know, it's not your money. You have to be a steward of other people's money,
Mm-hmm.
and at a certain point, it will turn criminal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
it
somebody-
already has, probably, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Well, you know, they only have themselves to blame. So,
Being a steward of other money, also, you need to be very responsible. You know, you don't just spend it on whatever, and analyze all your transactions and who you're spending,
Mm-hmm.
getting vendors to.
Well, one
You
thing
know,
I want to bring up, speaking of,
thrifty.
we didn't talk about it, was when one of the treasurers left, the current GOP chair had the audacity to ask him to sign blank checks for her to be able to.
Well, he refused.
Oh, yeah, he refused because he's an upstanding person.
And I think that was the
But-
catalyst for him finally leaving.
But the fact of the matter that she had the audacity to ask him to sign blank checks, and she could just go around and just spend it however she wanted to. She uses the debit card like it's her own personal checking account. And regardless of the fact of whether or not there was some approval, of gas for like events.
wait a minute. I can't expense gas unless it's by mileage.
Yeah,
You
you're,
mean I
you're
could
supposed to be.
you can't just fill up your tank.
So if we put money in the budget to reimburse for gas expenses, because the chair does have to drive a bunch of different events
Sure
and
they
stuff
do.
like this. So what you do is you keep track of your mileage. You turn that in, you get paid so many cents a mile. You don't just fill up your gas
don't just fill
tank.
up your gas tank.
And this is what I'm gonna, because I know they're gonna watch, because you know I point out on the Carolina Cabinet all the time that you know we love you, but we miss you, but thank you for listening. You know, we want the receipts. If there's
Yeah.
nothing malfeasance going on, then I want you to have the stones to put up the statement of the bank accounts and the debit cards, and let's see.
Yep.
And then you know, like a child that broke a lamp, they're trying to hide the evidence.
Well, yeah, and then they spent, what was it, the $900 for the precinct chair appreciation meeting, and then
That was unauthorized.
and then half of us were not even included as precinct chairs. I wasn't invited,
Yeah.
And you're a
you were
precinct
out
chair.
there.
And I'm a precinct
You're
chair.
a precinct chair, and you were out there
and I
during
was out
early
there
voting
every
day.
day, early
We were working
voting.
these sites.
Well, Heather, if you would have just been on the right colored team, then maybe you would have been invited.
If I'd have rode their coattails.
Well, yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
don't.
you better not be purple.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Better not want to make it Blue County purple.
How dare I?
Bishop Minor spoke a lot to the what he perceives as racism on our GOP board. We're concerned with the monochromatically white.
I'm concerned
And
with the
of
racism.
that, the crusty old white people that are trying to be on our board. they don't reflect me and my values. And, you know, contrary to what they believe, I have some values. So I don't know that they know who they think they're going up against.
And I'm like, they need to keep track of every penny, because it's not their money, it's our money. It's
and the
everybody's
sad
money.
thing is it's going to fall on the treasurer. And, you know, God forbid she stepped up, she's trying to do a good thing. And because of the control of the chair.
Well, she already said in that Facebook post that the chair is berating her, yelling at her, making
but she's
her
responsible for that money. She's responsible for those receipts. You know,
that's the thing. But if you have a chair that's using the debit card left and right, she needs to keep track of those receipts.
Yeah.
So where are the receipts?
Show me the receipts. Show me the money, Nina. Show me the money. So again, this is Peter Pappas. I'm here with Bree Eldridge and Heather Holmes. Our primary focus today was to let you all know that the Republican convention for Cumberland County is going to be held March 8th at Freedom Christian Center on 301. It's from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. You need to bring $10 cash, and you need to bring your photo ID. All registered Republicans are welcome, and if you're not registered to vote, you can register the morning of. You just can't vote during that convention. But we welcome everybody and hope to see you soon.